Hi, welcome to today's video, where we'll talk about new additions to our offer, 3D wheel alignment systems, the INVENTO S300 and S400 devices. Jacek is with us today, and he's a specialist in the field of wheel alignment. He also implements these products, so it'll be great to ask him about these machines. Hi, Jacek.
Hi, Mikolaj.
So maybe let's start with why there are two devices instead of just one.
Two devices? That's because we chose these models based on the needs and expectations of different customers. First of all, the S300 model is a version where the cameras are adjusted manually. We also dedicate this model to customers who simply have a service pit. We chose the S400 model for customers who work on a lift, where the cameras automatically follow the car, following those targets mounted on the vehicle. So this operation is simply much more convenient and faster.
Okay, so we know there are different workshop needs, and because of that, how can we mount these devices?
First of all, we mount the devices in two different ways. Right here in the training room, we have these models mounted to a special mobile platform where the cart, as well as this whole, let's call it a crossbeam, is mounted to this platform where we can move it very easily across the floor. We'll show you in a moment how easily it works. The second system is when we mount the crossbeam, this whole column, to the floor. We anchor it, and the cart with the computer, with everything else here, is mobile, and we can move it in front of the beam, to the back, right, left, however it's convenient for us.
Okay, another very common question from customers is, what's included with the device? With the machine, what's in the standard equipment?
What do they ask about most often?
Are there turntables?
Yes, there are turntables. With this device, we have this product already included in the price. Importantly, they also come with rubber inserts that simply make it easier to roll the vehicle during the initial measurement procedure, right?
What about slip plates? Because questions about those come up too.
There are no slip plates in any of our devices, not the S300, nor the S400, nor in other models we offer. Slip plates are mainly dedicated to customers who mount this device on the floor over a pit, so that's an additional option for that group of customers. Those who work on a lift, simply. The device then doesn't require those plates. It already has those plates built into the lift. Okay. What's also worth highlighting is, first of all, the lock for the brake and steering wheel. I know customers also ask about this, whether it's standard. Yes, it is a very, very convenient device. It's very easy to work with them. What about other interesting things? Well, of course, there must be a computer with software. It's a Dell unit, so professional equipment, keyboard, mouse, that goes without saying. A printer is also important, on which we can simply print all those reports for customers or for ourselves. For documentation, what's worth mentioning are the clamps. They are, of course, standard. They're 4-point clamps. Clamps reaching up to 24 inches. And a very interesting thing is that we have interchangeable so-called teeth in them with which we grip the rim. So we can grip it in a way like when we have alloys. We can grip it by turning this tooth. Then we work with steel wheels.
Okay. And since we're on the subject of accessories anyway, are there any additional ones that you recommend buying at the start or in the future if we're starting to work with alignment?
First of all, the most frequently added accessory is a steering wheel level. We have it in two versions. The two of them meet slightly. Different customer needs at times. Generally, it's such a basic tool. The second tool, which is also often bought by customers, especially those who work with cars like Mercedes-Benz, whereas special gauge is needed to measure the inclination of either the rod or simply the control arm, and only then can we perform this procedure correctly for this car brand. So we also highly recommend this device as an optional one.
Sum up briefly, we know the differences between these devices, how to install them, what's included, and what accessories might be worth buying. So finally, let's move on to the most important part, the device software.
Yes. I'll just mention here that when talking to customers, they often pay a lot of attention to the price. What's included is standard, as you asked. What functionality it has, whether the camera moves up and down, how it works, and what technology it is. But little is said about the internal functions, so we want to highlight them. Looking at plain offers online or even on a flyer, it's hard to spot these small differences. But they're very, very important because they're the heart of the system. How it inspects, how we can measure, and how we can adjust the vehicle. That's very, very important, and we'll talk about those details once we bring the car onto the workstation. And we'll show you during normal operation which function is where and why it's just so important.
Let's get started. We have the car ready, we have the device ready, let's get to work. And now the most important question, what about the database?
The device has two databases. One selected here now is Autodata. There's also a second manufacturer database that we can switch to in the settings to use for cars that aren't as popular in our market, like some American vehicles like Dodge, Chrysler, and the like.
Jacek, if you could also say something about rolling the vehicle, because of course there's less and less space in the workshop and cars are getting longer and longer. How do we deal with that?
Very simple. The device doesn't require a lot of space for rolling. It's a distance of literally a dozen or so centimeters where we back the car up and then return to the starting position. So it doesn't take up much space. These are small distances.
Okay, we know about the database. A frequent question is also about the adjustment points, especially from beginner customers who don't quite know how to manage or find their way around at first.
Definitely. It's definitely worth having these adjustment points in the device and using them in those critical situations. The device has this type of information here. For a given angle, for a given wheel. We press this button here and we get information on which bolts or which element should be turned to simply achieve the angle change. Here, in this model we've chosen, we have 2 points at the back on the rear axle, so you can take a look and see.
Are there any other special functions in this device that are worth showing or highlighting?
Yeah, definitely. The device has several special functions. What does a special function mean? It means a special measurement or a special adjustment. These are definitely things that set this device apart from the competition. First of all, the most frequently used ones, which are vehicle dimensions. We have information about the track width, wheelbase, and offsets of this vehicle. If we click further here, we get information about the diagonals of this car. Also, lots and lots of cool, interesting information regarding how the suspension looks. What's also important, we have a function here, adjustment with the wheel removed. When it's an additional option, an extra thing, namely a bracket for the hub, which after removing the wheel, we put on the hub and attach to it. We attach the reflector. So it's also an interesting thing to use for those special, let's say, problematic vehicles. What else? Engine frame adjustment? It's also very helpful for mechanics who pull out the gearbox, repair the clutch. So then after that work, you need to adjust. The frame, this cradle. They call it different things, but this function simply helps us go through and set it in the correct position. As for other interesting things I'd like to mention, for example, adjustment with turned wheels. When the rod is at the top and hard to reach, we just have to turn the wheels to open up that access. And such a function also exists here, where we can adjust the toe-in specifically with turned wheels.
Working on this device, as we're talking, the first thought that comes to mind is that a lot here is based on various graphics. It's very clear, and I think for every user, right from the start, it'll be quite straightforward. And there won't be any problems getting familiar with the software.
Yeah, I think exactly the same. We have the main menu here where we work, clicking through the various procedures. We have animations like how to prepare the car for rolling, how to prepare the vehicle for measuring the kingpin inclination, Or as I showed here, as you saw earlier, we have adjustment points. Everything is nicely and clearly laid out. For someone who wants to remind themselves which angle is positive or negative in which position, we also have these graphics here. So yes, definitely, the device's clarity and ease of use are very important features here.
I feel like we've covered all the most important information. So finally, Jack, if you could summarize once more which device for which workshop.
Once more, we dedicate the S300 to customers with a pit who work in a pit. This manual camera up and down adjustment option provides a gateway, an option for the future if the workshop changes the workstation to a lift, 4-post, or a diagnostic scissor lift. You can still work with this device by moving these cameras up and down.
Okay, and what about the S400?
Here, the situation is very simple. This model, due to the automatic camera adjustment up and down, simply fits perfectly with scissor lifts like the one we're standing by, or just 4-post ones, where you don't have to do it manually, it all happens automatically. If we raise or lower the car, the cameras simply follow the car, so the situation and the work is very, very convenient and smooth, right?
Okay, Jacek, in that case, thanks for all the information. Of course, if we haven't covered a topic in enough depth, or if there are any additional questions, we encourage you to leave them.